Hi, I'm Joyce Licorice, and you are watching Reading the Room. Hello, ladies and gents, and book lovers alike. This is Joyce Licorice, your host of Reading the Room, and I'm back with another exciting episode. On Reading the Room, we inspire people. We tell them move, touch, inspire, create. If you've got a story in you, make sure that you get in touch with Dream Empire Publishing so we can help bring your story to life. But without further ado, we have a fantastic guest all the way from Iraq, y'all. We have Mr. Harold Pfifer. Welcome to the show today.
Thank you. How you doing? I'm glad to be here.
I'm doing great, man. That's what time is it there? I have to say the smile. I can't tell. You look wide awake.
Yeah, it's 1:30 in the morning.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Well, we're not going to keep
No,
you up all night,
that's
Mr. Pfeiffer. We're going to jump right into it. And today we're
Mhm.
going to talk about one of your many titles, My Bully, My Aunt. So, listen, I've read the book. I've seen the reviews. Our book club, the book review squad at Dream Empire, loved the book. I think
awesome.
25 or 30 different readers all gave it at least 4.5, 5 stars on Amazon. And they all had one thing to say, and that was Aunt Kathy was something else.
That's why I wrote the book.
That's right. So, can you tell us what inspired you to write this particular story and why now?
I wrote an original book called Surviving Chaos: How I Found Peace at a Beach Bar. And Aunt Kathy is one of the characters in that book, and people kept asking me about Aunt Kathy. And so it dawned on me, sound like she need a book. So I had a lot of stuff, to add and a lot of wackiness, a lot of stuff. Of course, I didn't mention in Surviving Chaos. And and she passed 2020, I think. And so good time is anytime is, good as any to write
There you
about Aunt
go.
Kathy.
It
Yeah.
was it was it a specific moment after she passed that kind of triggered the idea or any incident or anything?
Yeah, a couple of things. I'm sure you're familiar in the Black community. They would sell like burial insurance, right? And so, you know, they come by, get pennies, 10 cents a week or whatever. And so when you pass, your funeral was paid for. Well, Aunt Kathy had that service too. And so once she passed, she made sure somehow we couldn't find her burial insurance. And I mean, we dug and dug anyway, and I ended up paying for most of the funeral. But
Mm-hmm.
I knew she had insurance. Plus, she worked at a funeral home,
Right.
and they wouldn't cover all of it. And of course, as mean as she was, I kind of understand. But but that was part of got it going. She said she had some coins that she left for my brothers. They found the coins and they were no good. So it was kind of like a setup. It just all those come together. There was another thing that really did bother me about her. Um, there was some property off in Columbus, right off of downtown, that she couldn't keep.
Mm-hmm.
And instead of telling me or offering me an opportunity, she let it go to the city, back to the city.
Oh
And
my.
and and that kind of bothered me. That's the one I kind of stick with because it's, you know, high, high prime property, you know.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
So Aunt Kathy is still something else beyond the grave. It sounds like.
Yes, yes.
I saw, when I read the book, I noticed that Aunt Kathy is portrayed as both a tormentor and an unlikely teacher. So, how did
Mhm.
writing about her help you to process some of those childhood experiences?
It made me relive them and
Mhm.
trying to see the good in some of it.
Certainly.
I get I guess it made me more of not depending on her or anyone because my brother Jared pretty much did. She she said she did say a lot of good things and which I didn't give her credit in the book. She talked about I should go to college. She knew she saw it in me.
Hmm.
But the more I started to grow, she started to resent that. She wanted to control me.
Mm.
Man, yeah. I mean,
I think a lot
even
of people can relate in having that somebody in their life that is like that. And so
yeah,
I think some of that old school love is a little different than the new school love.
mhm,
Like we're a little bit more cultured, we're a little bit more aware and intentional about how we go about things, hopefully, and we've learned a little bit. But some of the older generations love hard. They love hard.
yeah, yeah.
And I think Aunt Kathy had that kind of, tough love. And some of it was a little bit too tough. So, what was the
Right.
most difficult scene or memory to write about in the book, and how did you push through that?
I talked about a little of it in Tubacan.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I had three brothers. We all had different dads. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and I talked about it in my bully, my aunt, and her final gift.
Mm-hmm.
When I first started school, somehow my dad wanted to know. Didn't have a relationship with him. I was the bastard child to him. Wanted to know how was I doing, and she
Mm-hmm.
spent all that time talking about Jerry and not me. And
Mm.
it could have been a moment for me to maybe have an influence, have a dad. And so that was kind of hard because I didn't establish a relationship with my dad until I was about 21.
Mm.
So
Wow.
yeah, so she kept all that. She had to control all that, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm.
and because he wouldn't say take care of Jerry, she wouldn't allow him to take care of me.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Jerry wasn't his kid.
Wow. So definitely
Um,
some lessons learned there, some tough lessons. And I love and I applaud you for, as a black man, opening up about something that could be painful, and sharing your story. I think there's a lot of other people that can learn from some of the traumatic experiences that you had by reading the book. And I really think it's a good read. It's got moments where you laugh, you cry, it pulls you in 100% from the first page. And so I applaud you as someone that edits books and writes books and looks at books all day. From the bottom of my heart, very well done, well written, and I love the story that you tell. My bully, my aunt, and her final gift. I love that title too, by the way. I mean, it makes you go, "What was the final gift?" Right? And so you get it right away what it is. But I really think that that title really pulls you in and speaks to what it's about. I'm going to ask you a question that probably nobody else has asked you in any of your other interviews. If
okay.
your aunt was a fly on the wall and she could read that book, what do you think
Mhm.
she would have to say about it?
She would cuss me out. She,
Up
you
one
know,
side and down the other.
right, she would. I wrote Surviving Chaos, my first book, kind of my first book. And my niece told her about it, and her reaction it was brutal. Those are
Ooh.
lies. I don't know why you tell these lies. It was
And
brutal.
sometimes
So,
people don't remember themselves as being the monsters that we recall. They, in their mind,
right,
they were, knights in shining armor or whatnot. But I can see good and bad. I saw some love. I saw some tough, tough, tough love. Then I saw some things that were just out of the question. With
right.
the things, I don't want to give it away for the readers because I really want you guys to make sure you pick up my bully, my aunt, and her final gift. But I want to say you have lived a full life, right? So
I
I
think so.
think whatever went on in your childhood, you didn't allow that to dissuade you from living a full life, living abroad. What would you have to say to another young man or woman who may have experienced some childhood trauma as far as advice for getting through that and pressing forward?
You got to believe there are better days. Um, Trauma, unfortunately, I hate. I think I'm right. It's mostly a part of life.
Yeah.
Um, Find people you can lean on that you trust. Someone you can share.
Hmm.
Uh, because they may have the right word or put you in the right direction, to steer you clear of it.
Absolutely.
Um, don't overly beat yourself up. I mean, people go through depression. Believe it or not, that's a normal thing. And look at your success, no matter how small, and build on it. Hey, I did well in school, or maybe I did well on the basketball team, or or people like the way I cheered or whatever. Just build on, just keep building on that.
Keep building on that. Build your legacy. And speaking
Hmm.
of legacy, you have lived a life full of bold career moves and
Yes.
reinventing yourself. So, how does
Right.
this book fit into your personal legacy as a writer and adventurer? You
Mm.
have a personal legacy. That thing is ever growing. I've seen your catalog grow. So, how do you think this one fits to overall where you want to be as an author, and how do you see that growing your career?
I like entertaining, kind of have a way of putting my foot in my mouth at time, but I like entertaining. And I saw myself, or writing the book, I saw myself becoming a better writer,
Mhm,
um, connecting humor, or doing the entertaining.
mhm.
Um, and it's always therapeutic, you
Yes.
know.
It's
Uh,
therapeutic and it's like an adventure. Sometimes you go down memory lane and you start remembering things that you had tucked away. Do you experience
mhm.
that when you write?
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
I know when I start writing, it just flows out of me. When I really get in the zone, it just flows. Do you ever have writer's block?
Oh, all the time.
Do you?
Yeah.
Well, my writing coach told me there's no such thing as writing writer's block. He said just throw up on the page whatever goes through your mind, write it down, and then it'll start to flow. So there's some advice to you. It works for me. It works for me.
Right.
So
Yeah.
before we go today, I want to say thank you for coming on, and I want to know what's next for you. Another memoir? You got fiction? Continuation of this story? Like, tell me what you got. What else is coming down the pipeline?
Um, I also write fiction.
Okay.
One of the books, A Fool Indeed, right?
Yes, this is juicy one, y'all. I read that one too.
uh, I might do the trilogy. I'm kind of on the fence on it. Um, but there's other books that I want to write under Harold Pfifer. The fiction, of course, is I write under Dean Coney, my pen name. And but there's a book that it's just a matter of me getting the time that I wrote about my job, what I do. And kind of give you an example of it. Um, it's about being a contractor and all the wild things that we go through. And and I talk about the zany stuff, not the stuff they're gonna put hair on the back of your neck, not so
Right.
much, but the wild thing they do. But this is, well, I'll tell you one. I was in Afghanistan. We went to this chemist, and so they got all these different foods and different spices and weeds and all this stuff in there. And so the guy looked at me and he said, "I got some for you." I go, "What?" This can, it looked like a can of shoe polish, and I look at it. And they called Tigers, what it was. And it was some type of Viagra. And
Oh.
I'm like, yeah, right. So I'm like,
Now, are you
oh,
married or are you single?
I'm single.
Watch out, ladies.
So so I look at it like, oh, okay. So he
That's-
wasn't he didn't like me kind of brushing him off. He go, ah, so he pulled down this basket from up top
oh,
and another whole thing, canister of shoe polish, what looked like shoe polish, right? And on the label was a picture of President Obama. And he goes, these Obamas, they're better than the Tigers. So I bought them. And unfortunately, I given them all away, but I bought them and took them back to camp for novelties. I like, I gotta show people
that
this.
is funny. So you probably had
Yeah.
some zany experiences. So that book, I can't wait to see what you call it because you definitely have a way to name your titles. Your titles are definitely catchy. You heard it here first. So you guys heard it here on the Reading the Room show that we're gonna hear these funny stories about him as a contractor abroad. Listen, it's been amazing. I'm so glad to hear about what's next for you. I do know Dream Empire is working on bringing to life one of your titles on his audio book. We'll talk about that
Right.
maybe on another show. But you guys,
Okay.
follow Harold Pfifer. Where can we find you on social media, online?
All right. My website is riseandread.com. Maybe down because we recreating it, but riseandread.com. Online, Facebook, Harold Pfeiffer 2024. Same thing on Instagram, Harold Pfeiffer 2024. Yeah.
Perfect. Riseandread.com,
Okay.
or make sure you guys follow him on social media. It has been an
Mhm.
absolute pleasure. I want to personally
Okay.
endorse this book, you guys. My Bully, My Aunt, and Her Final Gift. It's a book, I think, for anyone that has been through a little bit of childhood trauma, who wants to find kind of the comedy in that thing and figure out how you can keep on rising and reading and pushing
Yes.
forward, right? Um, Harold, this has been wonderful. I really enjoyed meeting you face to face finally and
Okay.
having you on the show. You guys make sure you stay tuned. We come up with a new episode every month. We feature authors from all over the world, literally all over the world, on the Reading the Room show. You guys, if you want to know what's next from Dream Empire, you can visit us at dreamempirefilms.com or dreamempirepublishing.com. And just a quick word from our sponsors, we do have a couple of new feature films and documentary films coming out. And we love, love, love new readers and new writers. So if you're an author and you have a story inside of you and you want to move, touch, and inspire the masses with that story, make sure you look us up at dreamempirepublishing.com. Thanks for tuning in and thanks for coming on the show today, Harold. Have a great
Thank you.
evening, everybody.
All right. Everybody make sure you like and share the content.
Absolutely. All right.
Thank you. All right.